Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's continue our discussion on morphology. This is the third meeting. In the first meeting or in the first session, we talk about the nature of words. And then when we are talking about words, there are three important notions that we have to bring into consideration. So the three notions are root, stem, and base. And then it turns out that a word consists of elements of words. And then in morphology, the elements of words are called morphemes. We continued our discussion on morphemes in the second discussion. It turns out morphemes can be dichotomized into lexical morpheme versus grammatical morphemes. Okay? And then there is also another dichotomy which is overlapping, bound morphemes versus free morphemes. Root are usually free, but not always. There are some bound root. Okay, there are some root that becomes bound morphemes. Okay, when we are talking about bound morphemes, we are dealing with affixes. There are four types of affixes. The first is prefix, suffix, infix, and circumfix. Hopefully, what I told you just now can help you to recall or to review the discussions we had in the last two meetings. When we are talking about morphemes, there is a notion of lexical morphemes. Okay, so I am sure that you are still asking, what is lexical all about? Okay, lexical is an adjective to explain something which is called lexicon. What is lexicon? Let me give you an analogy. If you see a jar for water, so you see a jar. So when you fill the jar with water, the jar will be full. Okay, when the jar is already full with water and you keep pouring the water into it, so the water will spill. Okay, and then let's imagine that lexicon is a jar. Lexicon is a magic jar. Why? Because a jar is filled with water. Lexicon is filled with words. So lexicon is like a magic jar. The more words you put into it, it will never be full. So where is the lexicon actually? Here in our mind. Okay? What is lexicon actually? Lexicon is a linguistic term for popular term vocabulary. Okay? So have you ever heard that, have you ever heard someone complain, oh no, don't give me more words because my lexicon is already full. So I am sure that you will never find that person. Again and again I'm telling you, so lexicon is a magic jar. The more words you put into your lexicon, so your lexicon will never be full with words. Okay. Yeah. What is lexicon? Lexicon is a linguistic term. The popular term for that is vocabulary. What is vocabulary? Vocabulary is a list of words in a language. What is lexicon? Lexicon is a list of lexical items of a language. Yeah, so what's the difference? Yeah, there is a bit difference. So we will discuss lexicon further later in semantics, okay? That is the reason why when you study linguistics, you use lexicon, you don't use vocabulary. Vocabulary is a list of words, and then lexicon is just a list of lexical items. So it means words are the same as lexical items. In certain cases, yes, but not in some other cases. Okay, now let's continue our discussions on lexical morphology. Yeah. Last meeting we talked about bound morphemes like unhappiness. Okay, we talk about a word consisting of elements of words, unhappiness. The root is happy, un is bound morpheme, and then yeah, happy is free morpheme, un and ness are bound morphemes. Let's focus on ness. Can you mention some other English words consisting ness as its element? There are so many English words consisting ness. Besides happiness, fitness, laziness, togetherness, darkness, and some other words. Let's come to so what does it mean? So I would like to underline here, it turns out that ness in English is a very productive bound morpheme. It is a very productive affix. It is a very productive suffix. Let's come to Indonesian language. In Indonesian language, there is a word bersama. Bersama consists of the lexical morpheme sama or free morpheme sama and then bound morpheme or grammatical morpheme ber. Can you mention some other Indonesian words consisting of ber? Oh, there are so many Indonesian words consisting of ber as its element. Bersama, bernyanyi, berlari, belajar. So belajar consists of ber. We are going to talk about that in morphophonemics later. What else? Berdiri, even berbayar. Okay, so several years ago people didn't use berbayar, but now people use berbayar. Berbalas. Okay, so perhaps you say that berbalas is not common, but Hedi Yunus, you know Hedi Yunus used that word in his song Cinta Tak Berbalas, right? Okay, and then what is berkabar? So there is a word berkabar in Indonesian. Let's come to Arabic. In muhajir there is mim as the element of words. Can you mention some other Arabic words consisting of mim? Oh, there is so many. Mim in muazin, mim in muzaki, mim in masjid, mim in musola. There are so many words in Arabic consisting of mim as the element of words. So we can say that mim is a very productive affix, is a very productive suffix, a very productive prefix in Arabic. Ber, because in Indonesian, because we can see many many words in Indonesian consisting of ber, we can say that ber is very productive. In English, ness is an example of productive affix. Now let's talk about warm. You know, warm in English. Warm is an adjective, right? So what about if we want to change it into noun? So it becomes warmth. So you put th, okay. If you want to change warm adjective into a noun, and then long as well. Long is an adjective. If you want to change it into noun, you put th as the element of the words, as a grammatical morpheme, functioning to change it into noun. Can you mention some other English word consisting of th as the element of words? So I do understand if you say, what else? What else? Yes. Unlike ness, which is very productive in English, th, is not that productive in English. Okay, let's come to Indonesian again. Ber is very productive, bersama, berlari, berdua, bernyanyi. And then there is also a certain Indonesian bound morphemes like ke in ketua, you know, tua, ketua, and then ke in ke-1, ke-5, ke-6. What else? Can you mention some other Indonesian words consisting of ke as the element of the words? And then you would like to say, apalagi ya Pak? Okay, I do understand if you answer my question like that. Okay, so we can see that ness is very is an example of productive affix in English, and then the is not productive. In Indonesian, ber is very productive, and then what you call that? Ke is not that productive in Indonesian language. Even everybody in English before 1960s, there was no word consisting of mini. But nowadays, there are so many English consisting of mini. For example, mini market, mini bar, mini skirt, and there are some other words consisting of mini. But before 1960s, there was no English word consisting of mini. Mini is an element of words in Dutch. So mini market is what you call that, copied from Dutch word minimart. And it turns out that nowadays mini is very productive in English. So you can see zero into productive affix. In Indonesian language, if you ask your grandparents, okay, 20 or 30 years ago, so there was no Indonesian word consisting of pasca. Pra, yes. So prasejarah, prasejarah, pranikah. So there were, so that words already belong to Indonesian several decades ago, but not pasca. But several, starting from 20 years ago, I'm not sure. So pasca started to become productive. So nowadays we can so many Indonesian words consisting of pasca. Prabayar, pasca bayar, program sarjana, program pasca sarjana, pasca nikah, pasca banjir, pasca panen. So we can say that pasca is an example of affix Indonesians zero from productive. Okay, so I don't know, I cannot give you an example in Arabic, perhaps as soon as possible. Okay, so I hope my explanation can make it clear, can give you clear explanations about productivity in lexical morphology. Okay, let's continue to the next important notions in lexical morphology, which is dealing with the productivity. Okay, let me give you an example. There is a word formation process which is called derivation. What is derivation? Derivation is a process or a word formation process that which is done by attaching a certain affix into existing word, and it will give you a completely new word with new meaning, and usually with new grammatical category, with new part of speech. Okay, let me simplify the definition. What is derivation? Derivation is a word formation process by attaching a certain affix into existing word, and the process will give you a new lexical word, a new word with a new lexical meaning. And usually the process of derivation changes the part of speech or changes the grammatical category of words. For example, in English, teach. Okay, what is teach? Teach is an activity. Okay, teach activity, and then plus suffix er. Teach, the root teach plus suffix er becomes teacher. Once again, what is teach? Teach is an activity. What is teacher? Teacher is someone who does the activity. So you will, by attaching er into teach, you will get a new word with a new meaning. And then usually it changes the grammatical category. What is the grammatical category of teach? It is verb. And then what is the grammatical category of teacher? It is noun. Okay? And then let's come to the next word formation process, which is called inflection. Different from derivation, inflection is a word formation process which is done by attaching a certain affix into an existing word, but the process doesn't really give you a new lexical word. It doesn't really give you a new word with new meaning. It will only give you a new grammatical words, a new word with new grammatical meaning, not lexical meaning. And inflection doesn't change the grammatical category of the origin word. For example, book plus s becomes books. So you will get, okay, book plus suffix s become books. You will get a new word. But is it a new word? Yes, but not really. It doesn't really give you a new complete meaning. So it only gives you a new grammatical meaning. So us here is a grammatical morpheme. Okay. Yeah. No, so it is called inflection. Derivations is a word formation process which is done by attaching a certain affix into existing words, and you will get a new lexical word. But different from that, inflection only gives you a new grammatical word, not a new lexical word. Okay. Now I'm asking you, swimming. Okay, swim plus ing is derivational process or an inflectional process. Swim plus ing becomes swimming is a derivation or an inflection. So to answer this question, you have to see the context of the word in a sentence. In look, he is swimming. Okay, so swim plus ing becomes swimming. So is it a derivation or inflection? Swim. What is swim? An activity. Okay, so what is swimming? It is also an activity. So, and then what is swim here? The grammatical category? Verb. So look, he is swimming. What is swimming here? Still verb. So swim plus ing in look, he is swimming. So is inflectional process, or it is an inflection. But what about swimming? Swim plus ing becomes swimming in my hobby is swimming. Okay. So what is swim? Activity. What is grammatical category? Verb. My hobby is swimming. What is the grammatical category of ing here? Swimming here. Noun. It is a gerund. You study that in grammar, right? Okay. Yeah. Swim plus ing in swim plus ing becomes swimming in look, he is swimming is an inflection. Meanwhile, swim plus ing in what you call that in my hobby is swimming is a derivation. Okay. Oh yeah. Previously, I underlined that grammatical category usually, derivation usually changes the grammatical category of words. Like that one, swim. So it is verb becomes swimming in my hobby is swimming, and then sing plus becomes singer. So it is a derivation, but it doesn't always change the grammatical category. For example, king. You know king? King is someone. Plus them becomes kingdom. So what is the meaning of kingdom? It's a place. The process gives you a new word. But what about the grammatical category? What is the grammatical category of king? Noun. What is the grammatical category of kingdom? Noun. So it doesn't change the grammatical category. Okay. Yeah. Everybody, I think that's all that I would like to convey to you today. So our new material today is dealing with lexical morphology, and it is dealing with the productivity in word formation processes. When you are dealing with what you call that productivity, so you will find certain productive affixes in a certain language, and there are also some unproductive affix, and even there are some productive affix which were not productive, even zero to productive. The phenomenon zero to productive. When dealing with productivity, there are certain word formation processes. There are two word formation processes that we talk about today: derivation and inflection. Please read the explanations about derivation versus inflection in your books. Okay, so there are the two major word formation processes. There is one other major word formation process. We are going to talk about it next meeting, and there are also some other word formation processes which we will discuss last meeting. Okay, everybody, I do hope my explanation can decrease your confusedness when you when you read the books on morphology. Thank you very much for paying attention to my explanation. We will meet again next meeting. The last words from me is Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.